What happened
Welcome
to my
to
intro?
Empower Hour. Let's get growing.
Good morning. I'm coming to you from the Dominican Republic today, feeling really good. Very excited about the art of storytelling. I'll start by telling my story. And it took a while for me to actually understand that how telling my story was going to impact my business and impact the people that were going to be attracted to me. And at the end of the day, that's what's most important, right? You want to be in business with the right people. You want to be in business with people you get, but you also want to be in business with the people whose problems you can actually solve. So, Jen Mar, I'm your guide to soulful prosperity. My life has been a journey through some of life's harshest challenges. I've battled addictions. I experienced life on the street, overcame that to then only begin to face, not begin, but to face major business setbacks and major financial losses just a couple of years ago. I turned these hardships into lessons of resilience and growth, lessons that I realize is my calling to share with anyone wanting more out of life, which I find is most people. So as an entrepreneur, a mom, and a grandmother, I blend my personal victories with my professional expertise to help individuals and businesses find success and fulfillment that nourishes their soul. I'm personally on a mission to empower over 1 million people by the next leap year, over 1 million people, and showing them that true prosperity comes from taking purposeful actions and staying true to your core values. So that is my story. And again, I was not very comfortable telling this story for the longest time. And I kind of started pulling in pieces of it in the last year. And I think I'm finally at a place where I'm comfortable. And I'm sure that it will evolve and grow as I learn what my tribe, right? All of this is to build your tribe, what their problems are and how I can help solve them. And by telling my story, I'm opening them up. They're actually listening. So that's who I am. What is a story? I mean, we all know what stories. Can you guys remember the first amazing story that you ever heard was? Did you have somebody in your life who was a great storyteller? Who are those people that you know that weave these beautiful tales? I think my first favorite story was Where the Wild Things Are. And it's no surprise because I still aspire to have those kind of journeys and kind of adventures. I hope my Wi-Fi stays okay. So that's what a story is. It's an account of past events in someone's life or a situation viewed in terms of the information known and how it relates to another. So stories are going to help bond you to people, to your products, to your offerings, to your services. So the rule number one of why storytelling works is because nobody actually cares. Everybody is distracted. Everybody is doing a million different things. There is so much noise out there. And storytelling is actually one of the most powerful forces on the planet to connect, persuade, and influence mindset, beliefs, and behaviors. These things, mindset, beliefs, and behaviors are your biggest obstacles in your journey to success. Okay. So anything you can do to overcome influence, mindset, beliefs, and behaviors to align with your products and your offerings and your services is what you need to do. Of course, you want to apply this with mindfulness, right? With your values, with your virtues. We're not looking to manipulate people. We are actually looking to help them get off of their script. What does that mean, Jen? I'll give you the example. And if you've been coaching with me for a while, you've heard this one, but it's relevant. It's important, right? I have a wedding to go to this weekend. It's my best friend. She is a selfie maniac. She loves, loves, loves to document her story all over Instagram. She's not having a wedding party per se, but I know I'm going to be in a million photos at her wedding and I have to look my best, or she'll probably never speak to me again. I've lost 10 pounds. Nothing in my closet fits me. So I go to Nordstrom's and it's Thursday. I need this dress by Saturday or I'm in deep doo-doo. I walk into Nordstrom's and the woman comes up to me and says, "Can I help you?" And what do I say? What do you say? We say no, because we are scripted to say no. That is our resistance. That is my disconnection from that woman. And so the stories are going to help get people off of that script of saying no. Stories will literally synchronize the listener's brain and the teller's brain. So you are connected. I feel, you feel. You are literally on the same page, on the same wavelength for that period, for that moment. This is how people want to do business. This is the best way for them to make decisions. They're going to feel connected, supported, and understood. That's important. This is why I realized telling my story was super important. Everybody, pretty much, I believe, has a need to self actualize, right? To become the best version of themselves. And there's somewhere inside of them that yearns for that. And if I'm not telling my story, no, you don't have to sink to the bottoms that I have sunk to, but everybody has their own bottoms or has their own yearnings for that they want to become this best version of themselves. And if I'm not telling my story of how I was able to go from one level to another level to another level, they're not going to think that I can understand and relate. And that's super important in what I do because it's very vulnerable work. Okay, so I want to show this whole slide for a second. So storytelling can actually increase perceived value. I wish I had this shell with me because I'm going to tell you the story of this shell. Just take a look at it though. Obviously, it's a beautiful shell, but I want to ask you right now, and please put in the comments. I see all kinds of comments, but I haven't seen anybody said anything. Oh, good morning. Good morning. I should have stopped and said good morning to everybody. So good to see you guys, especially you guys on everywhere. So this shell, how much do you think this shell is worth? Or how much do you think I'd be willing to sell it for? Or how much do you think if I put it in a store, people would be willing to buy it for? Come up with the number in your head, put it in the chat if you'd like to, and I'm going to tell you the story of this shell. This shell is a very, very important shell to me. And I'm going to tell you why. This shell came to me while I was on very similar to where I am right now. I'm in the Dominican Republic on a work retreat. And I came here in 2022 after a very serious personal and professional setback. I had a business partnership blow up, my income, my persona, my savings, everything just boom, gone in an instant. There was some, I'm not going to get into it. I don't want to make accusations or act like a victim, but there was hurt. There was a lot of hurt involved with this. And it created a lot of, negative feelings. And I was crystal clear on what I wanted to do, but I still wanted a sign. I needed a sign. So I came to the Dominican Republic and I started walking the beach every day. And I'm very grateful. I'm right here on the beach. And it's absolutely amazing experience to be able to do this. And I set out for 3 weeks walking the beach every single day, looking for this sign, walking through shallow waters, coral shelves, and seeing all different kinds of beautiful people, experiencing the jungles and the cows and the horses and the birds. Just beautiful, beautiful experience day in, day out, but no sign. There just wasn't a sign. So the morning of my flight to go home, I took another walk on the beach. It was a beautiful day. The sun was absolutely scorching, and there was lots of other people that had been out before me. I can tell by the footprints. So it's not like I got there first. So I'm walking all the way out about a mile and a half, and I'm on my way back. I'm about 50 feet from the steps that come up to my condo, and there before me was this beautiful, beautiful shell. And to me, it was the most beautiful shell I have ever seen. It was exquisite. It was beautiful. It had the entire ocean wrapped up in its exterior. And I put it up to my ear and I could hear the sound. And I said, thank you, thank you, thank you, universe. This is my sign. I am on the right path. This shell opened for me the belief in my connection to the universe. It opened to me the miracles of being present, for being aware, for being connected. It was fantastic. I ran inside, I took the shell and I washed it and washed it and washed it because I wanted to bring it home. I wanted this memory of this moment, this alignment with the universe. I was changed. I felt completely different. I felt whole by this sign, this beautiful shell, this gift to me. So I washed it several times because I wanted to bring it home, and I don't want sand in my suitcase. Wash, dried, wash, dried, wash, dried as I'm getting ready multiple times, put it in my suitcase, go home, put it up on my little, I have like little altar type things where I put memories of things that are important to me, my vision board and whatnot, put it on there. And months go by, and my granddaughter's over at my house, and she thinks my bedroom is like her personal treasure chest. And she picks up the shell, and she's like, Grandma, what's this shell? Where is this from? And I tell her the story. And Zendaya is sitting there with like the biggest, widest eyes, holding the shell. And she's like, Grandma, this is so great. This is beautiful. And I said, well, do you want to experience the magic? Do you want to hear the ocean? And she takes the shell and she puts it up to her ear, and sand comes pouring out all over her. And guess what, you guys? This shell not only imparted the beauty of being present and witnessing miracles in me, but now it imparted it on my granddaughter. I know that this kid now believes in miracles, believes in being present and loving and observing and being connected. And that this story does that for everybody who hears it. So now, you guys, I ask you the same question. What is the value of this shell? How much do you think I'd be willing to sell it for? And I will just go a little bit further in this because this shell did change my life. And I do attribute it all to that moment. This shell changed how I perceive my connection to the universe. So here I was again on this trip just a few nights ago, or days ago, I should say, and I asked for the same thing. I said, show me a sign. I have this I'm working on and this I'm working on. I want to make sure I'm on the right path. Show me a sign. So now I'm very specific when I ask for signs. I want signs given to me in seashells and flowers and animals. It's such a good one. So I walked out the other day and said, and for some reason, flowers came into my mind very vibrantly. And I began to walk the beach. And about a quarter of a mile from my condo, yes, exactly, Steph. A quarter mile, it's priceless. A quarter mile from my condo, I start to see flowers on the beach. You guys, I have walked this beach thousands and thousands of times. I asked for a sign. I said, let it be flowers. I begin to walk the beach, and there's all of a sudden, with at least a mile, there was big, beautiful birds of paradise, all different other kind of flowers that I don't know their name, so big that, oh, I don't even know where my I don't know where my bouquet went. It must have fell over during the storm. Someone cleaned it up. But so big, you guys, I'm walking the beach. I ended up with a giant bouquet. Actually, out there, if you can line that up, I would love to show that at some point. So I'm walking now, still walking out the mile and a half or 2 miles that I walk, and I had to carry this bouquet back. This was like incredible. I've never seen any flowers on this beach. The occasional ground cover flowers that are up more on the bank. But here I'm walking the beach and I ended up with an entire bouquet. On the way back, this lady says, oh, I've been wondering what those what those flowers were for. Do you know what they're for? And I said, I do. They are for me. That's what that shell did for me. And you guys, you don't have to believe that, I'm sure that there's a cruise ship here. Someone got married. All their flowers somehow ended up getting thrown overboard and washed ashore. So you can dilute that miracle. But the fact is, I believed it to be a miracle. I experienced for the second time this overwhelming, beautiful feeling of being loved, supported, and listened to. That's what that shell means to me. So yes, you are correct. It is priceless. And then guess what? About 6 months later, I found a second one. I've been walking this same beach for, I think, about 8 years. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. Never found one single shell. I mean, lots of little teeny tiny ones like this and this. They're, little and broken. And these are precious because most of them are completely smashed to smithereens. And so I opened myself up to the universe when I connected with the shell. And that story, there we go. This happened to me. This is what happened to me walking the beach. Thank you, Alpha. So I connected myself to the universe. This shell is priceless. The value has completely changed. I know it's obvious for me, but I believe for you too. I believe if there was somebody out there listening to this story who was looking for a miracle, looking for a sign, would probably pay a lot of money for this shell. I changed the value by connecting it with my story. Stories create behavior change. Now, I'm going to date myself here because I know a lot of you are younger than me. This is a television show that was called ER, and I think it was the 90s. I would never know if it's the 80s or the 90s, but I believe it was the 90s. It was like the it show. I mean, everybody was watching ER, and this was when you had to be home and settled and ready at a certain time because we didn't really have like recording, right? You guys have on demand. There was a time after this where we could record and watch a show later, but this predated that unless you were like really rich or really techy. This predated that. You had to be home, certain day, certain time. Everybody gathered around the TV to watch ER. And it was an amazing story about emergency rooms. And obviously, through their storytelling, there was lots of opportunities to discuss health and different health issues and different reasons why people are coming to the ER. And they would get very involved with the personal life stories of the storyline in each episode surrounding whatever sort of health crisis was happening in the ER at that moment. And a few years after the show, and I forget how long it ran for, but it was a long time, they did a study. I say they because I'm the worst at citing these things. I shouldn't say that, but 50% of the viewers discussed their health issues, sorry for the typo, with their friends and family as a result of this show. And of that 50%, I forget what it was, but of that 50%, it was most of them never discussed their health issues with friends and family. And by the way, you guys, health was not very trending back then, whereas now health and wellness is all the rage. This was not something people sat around to discuss. 14% of people watching the show ended up scheduling doctor's appointments within watching that, right? And 30% of the viewers used the stuff discussed on the show to make health decisions. These are actors. That show created behavior change. It is a story, right? And this is how powerful using storytelling can be. Do you want this power on your side in growing your business? But here's the thing too, you guys, and I said this in the beginning. No, we're not looking to manipulate people. We're looking to put stories out there to build our tribe, our people, the people we want to do business with, the people who want to do business with us, the people we relate. But we have to get them off their script of no before we can do that. And that's where storytelling comes in. So we're out there, and everything that we're doing, yes, huge awareness of your health, but it's a story, right? It's not even, this isn't, so we are out there every day, and what we're doing is making proposals. So think of proposals in your life. Proposals are all about timing, connections, and having the same wants, right? If you went out, let's just say there was two different proposals of marriage. Rachel Lee, I saw you on here. You were just proposed to not that long ago, a few years ago. So when somebody proposes for marriage, you wait for the exact perfect timing, make sure that your lives are perfectly connected and aligned, and you both want the same exact things. And someone gets down on their knee, puts out a ring, and in a very private, beautiful, intimate setting is going to propose. Now, that's a beautiful proposal. But let's talk about the other proposal where it's like, yo, baby, you got what I need. You got what I want. And I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Will you marry me? And he's doing it in front of a whole bunch of people. The likelihood you're going to say no. So timing, connection, and wants. And then making sure that you are using this, because stories are the most powerful way to connect and persuade, and to cut through the noise and to cut through the clutter. And you want to make sure that you are connecting and persuading to their needs and their wants. This is a beautiful company creation story, Tom's story. While traveling in Argentina in 2006, Tom's founder, Blake, witnessed the hardships faced by children growing up without shoes, wanting to help. He created Tom's Shoes, a company that would match every pair of shoes purchased with a new pair of shoes for a child in need, one for one. And it goes on and on. So there's that kind of the story, which is not, it is a personal story, but it's not necessarily about Tom's hardships. It's about Tom wanting to give back to this community. And so, what kind of tribe is Tom going to connect to? People who want to give back, people who care that there's a bunch of kids in, I think it was Australia. No, it wasn't Australia. Where was it? Argentina. People that care that there are people out there. That's the kind of tribe he's going to connect. So you want to make sure that your stories are aligned with the people that you want to connect with, right? So you want to make sure that you are deeply listening to your community, your people, your tribe. And if they're not your people yet, then identify, who do you want to connect with? Who do you want to do business with? And start listening. You cannot understand their problems and their pursuits. So their problems are where they're at today, and their pursuits are where they want to be. And you are going to bring them there. Your story is going to help them to understand how you can take them to that process and to help them to their pursuit. So it starts with deeply listening. Because guess what, you guys? There is a lot of people out there telling the wrong stories. And just because you have followers does not mean that you are attracting the right people and the people that you're going to do business with. And this is not, we're not talking about just using this in the social media world. Okay. The other stories you're going to figure out. So I'll give you an example. When I was coaching realtors, I helped them to break down what they do and all the areas in what they do where a story would help break down the resistance of the buyer or seller. So you want to sit down and think about, what are your audience's problems, deeply understand, and then you want to listen and infuse your solution where you are meeting resistance. So right now I want you to take a few minutes and I want you to list down your process. What is it? Do you have presentations that you have to give? Do you need to get more people into your store? Do you need to, are you giving proposals out that you need to close and you need to, handle objections? All of these are an opportunity to use a story to connect and persuade and cut through all the noise. So write down that list. So whether you're building a yoga business, you have a retail store, you are a coach, you are a realtor, you own a marina, you are in the title company, hi Nancy, whatever it is that you do, what is this process that you go through, right? Write down the list. Where do you meet resistance? Where are you getting the answer, that scripted answer, no? Where are you getting that flat no? Write it down. Hello, Senator James Sanders. Hey, Wendy, Caitlin, Olivia, Stephanie, Anika, I haven't seen you in so long. Rachel, so glad you guys are here. All right, so we are listing all the steps in our business, all the places where we are meeting resistance, where we have an offer, we have a proposal, or we have the need to get people into our business, to understand who we are, buy from our website, whatever. So now what I want you to do, this is what's called story stacking. I just want you to list all your stories. What are all the great stories in your life? Start from childhood. What about some of the funny family members you have? What about some of the funny family holiday stories and dinners that you have? What are your struggles? What have you overcome? What have you learned? Right? Some of the great stories of your life. Maybe there's that, that night in college. Maybe there's walking the beach and finding a shell. I have a new story that I can add to my story stack because I opened the closet yesterday and a spider the size of my hand jumped on me. Yeah, and moved in. I named her Linda, and I will tell that story another time. But that is now another great story that I can inflict some humor and I can bring it to a tale of overcoming a fear and, you know. So, what are those stories in your life? You need to have a collection of these stories so that you can formulate them and you can infuse them into your process. So take a couple of minutes and write down this list of stories in your lives that are great stories. They can involve other people, challenges, triumphs, things you've learned. You can put the music on. Okay, I'm going to answer that in just a minute or two, Caitlin. You can leave the question up there, but I want everybody to get their list of stories. What are the great stories in your life? This is music that I have a license to play. What kind of world are we that I can't just put on jams that I love? I have to have license to them. Okay? List of stories. You're going to continue this as homework, and you're going to continue understanding your business process. Where in your business process are you getting resistance? And then you're going to match. You can turn the music off. You're going to match the place in your business where you're meeting resistance, which is, pretty much anywhere there's a process, because you're not just walking up, hey, do you want to buy my stuff? And people are like, yes, I do. That's a point where you're meeting resistance, getting people into your store, getting buyers or sellers, if you're a realtor, to sign a contract, getting people to use your company for certain services, so on and so forth. That's where you're meeting resistance, is anywhere you basically have a proposal and you want people to say yes. And then you're going to have this list of stories, personal stories that you're going to learn, that you're going to have ready to go, right? That you can infuse into that situation so you can build that trust. You can build that connection. It's going to make a huge difference. If I had opened up anything without giving you my personal story, you wouldn't feel as comfortable, right? So, what is the point I'm trying to make? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me answer Caitlin's question. What if, upon thinking of the memories as an adult, they are more concerning than funny? So, we're going to use our best judgment here. And honestly, this is operating out of a place of fear, too. Obviously, what I've been through in my life, if you really know my story, are definitely concerning and not funny. First of all, not every story is meant to be funny. Stories are used to create a memory. Me telling my story is probably triggering a memory in somebody else. So, but if I had operated out of fear and I had been afraid to share my story, to tell my truth, how are people going to believe that I can help them overcome what they need to overcome? But this is a very personal thing. So and we're all at different levels of healing and acceptance of where we're at, what we've been through, and who we are. So whatever stories you are comfortable with at this point, but list them all, right? And then you know which ones you're comfortable with and you can use, and how, what's the lesson? What did you overcome? And I'm going to get into that process of how you create the timeline of a story. So I hope that answers your question, but not everything has to be funny. And you're just sharing a piece of yourself to bond yourself to another human being or a whole bunch, right? So what is the point you are trying to make? And then asking yourself those questions on what problems do they solve? What lesson did I learn? How did I overcome it? What is an example of that, right? So here, now we're on the side of the resistance. What are their problems? What are their issues? And what's an example in my story stack of how I learned that lesson, how I used it, how I overcame it, right? So that's how you're going to match that. Some will be funny, some will be sad, and some will be very impactful. So the major elements of a story is the hero's journey, basically, right? So you want to have the setting, the situation, the time, and the place, the main character, whoever that is. Then the enemy comes along. The enemy can be a situation or a person that creates the conflict. And then there's the aha moment. And then there's the transformation. And then there's the mission. And my story in the beginning had all these major elements. There I am. I removed myself from the studio. So my story in the beginning had all the major elements of a story, just like this one. And I'm not perfect at it. I'm getting there. So this is a mission of mine as well. And so that's why I'm teaching it, so I can get even better at it. And I've been teaching it for a few years. So it's something you're not going to spend your full time, effort on, but start doing it now. And when you are out there posting, don't just post. Think about it, right? What does my audience need? What are their problems, and what is their pursuit? What are the solutions that they need to accomplish their pursuit? Where do they want to be? And how does this story impact them? How does this story connect them to me so that they know that working with me is going to help them in their pursuit? So stop just putting stuff out there. I think we're so focused on ourselves on social media in documenting our lives and who we are on an external level that we're forgetting to truly connect. So yes, a lot of people are building these personas that become larger than life, but not necessarily are you building deep connections and bonding and forging those deep connections. So the other application is, I want you to develop your personal story. This is why you do what you do. So take a couple minutes. I want to put the music back on, and I just want you to begin that outline, and you're going to use this. Start to develop an outline of your personal story, right? Write out this outline so that when you go to do this later and you rewatch this, you've already started. And this personal story is going to be what helps you attract your tribe. What's going to help you Be in business with the kind of people you want to be in business with. Why are we entrepreneurs and business owners if we can't pick and choose who we do business with? This is going to help. This is going to attract the right people. What is your personal story and how does it impact your business? How did it help you decide what you want to do for the rest of your life? What is the mission? What was the challenges you overcame? What were the conflicts? What was that aha moment for you? What was the transformation? What were the process and the steps and the ups and downs and all of the stuff, the internal and external transformations that you went through to get to where you are now? People want to do business with people they feel connected to and that they like. And yes, you are going to alienate some people. You absolutely are going to alienate. They are not your people. They would have caused you problems or strife. You can stop with the music down the line regardless. So don't be afraid. And Caitlin, I'm not sure that that's exactly where your question was going, but I was afraid. I was afraid to tell my story. And then I finally realized that without my story, I cannot attract the kind of people. I'm on a mission, you guys, to help over 1 million people self-actualize by the next leap year. Help 1 million people and businesses become the best version of themselves, to start designing a life that they choose. How can I do that if I'm not willing to be vulnerable and connect? And so, yes, you do want to get a little bit of vulnerable. There's not going to be all perfection like we like in the Instagram world in your story. There's going to be truth and vulnerability. And that's what helps people to bond and connect to you. All right. So you may have five different versions of this: 5-minute versions, 3-minute versions, 1-minute versions, 30-second versions, reels, this and that. You're going to get so much content out of it, but it should be what people see when they first go to your website. It should be, posted through your social media, and you want to make sure that you're including it in your presentations. Start out with your story so people know who they are dealing with. They know what to expect, and you are attracting the right people. And you cannot be afraid. There was, I have like so much sun. Hold on. There was a gentleman, it is what it is. There was a gentleman in Keller Williams, and I cannot remember his name, but he was the #1 real estate agent in Hollywood. And he was a Black gay man long before that was sexy or trendy. And I don't mean that. My daughter's probably saying, you can't say things like this, okay? I'm coming from my heart right now. He did not fit in with, I'm sure he fit in more in Hollywood, than in other places back then. This was in the early 2000s. But he felt it was so important as a Black gay man to only do business with people that dug him, who he was. And he was a very funny, very openly sexual, liberated type of human being. So he told the story on stage that when he would host an open house, he would greet people at the door. And as they walked in, he would smack them on the butt. And the people who got offended or like freaked out left, or like just, their behavior and their body language after that moment completely changed. He knew they weren't his people. And the people who were like laughed and got a kick out of it and didn't take it so seriously, and it helped build a bond, those are his people. I am not telling you to be that extreme. I'm telling you to have the courage to be you. Have the courage to show your vulnerability. Have the courage to show your freak flag, whatever that is, so that you are attracting like-minded people. You are attracting your tribe. Then you will build a business that is fun and is enjoyable, and you get to spend time with people you actually like. Okay? So that's what you're going to do. You're going to get this out. I want you all to send me this video or this outline. I will help you for free. Schedule a time with me. Put my calendar here. If you get your outline going, I will help you write this into something that you can use on your website, on your social media, on your wherever, okay? Because that's how much I believe in this and how important it is. And I know how difficult it is. I'm on like my 6th version myself, but it's going to help you build that tribe and attract the right kind of people. Any questions about anything that we've covered? I'm baking. Oh, what inspired you to focus on storytelling? I'm really just making sure that when I think it was Nolly, I'm trying to think of the gentleman's name of the open house that I just told you about. He inspired me that many years ago when he told that story. And my story is filled with a lot of shame, right? I carried a lot of shame and a lot of guilt, and I'm sure some of you can relate to that for a really long time. And I realized that if I didn't get ahead of my story or share my story or get that vulnerability over with, that I was always going to spend, like I did for most of my life, wondering, oh, but what if they really knew the real me? Well, now you know from day one who you're dealing with, what I've been through, what I've overcome, what I believe in, what my values are, what my virtues are. That's one thing I need to add more into my story is my values and my virtues, right? So that people who choose to work with me chose me for me. That's what inspired me to focus on storytelling. I don't want to build up a persona. I want to be me, 100%, 1,000%, all day, every day, with everybody that I am dealing with. And it took me to the 50s to get there. And so for you guys that are younger now, put it out there. What are your biggest fears? What are the challenges that you overcome? What are you still facing? I work with clients that, are truly, truly successful on high levels, and I will still be so upfront immediately of where I am at, what struggles I am going through financially, personally, professionally. I don't have all the solutions, and I don't need to be superwoman to help people. Hope that answered that question. Thanks for that. I like that question. What are some of the mistakes you've made in story time? Getting too caught up in the details. I actually did this recently. I spoke at the Westchester Women's Summit and also did what Caitlin's question was earlier, right? That, is it too emotional? Is it too dramatic? Is it too this? You want to make sure that you have processed your stories and that you are comfortable with them. Because I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole and got emotionally attached and started getting into details that were frankly TMI for the platform where we were at. So that's some of the mistakes that I've made. And then also, but being afraid of being vulnerable, being afraid of telling the truth. Storytelling is not pretend. Yeah, you get a little poetic license, right, to make it more descriptive, more relatable, but it is the truth. It is the essence of you. You are using the essence of you to connect to the essence of the person on the other side to break down that resistance. And this is the thing, you guys, they're coming to you because this is what they wanted. They wanted to buy those shoes, or they wanted to buy that house, or they needed to hire the plumbing, or they want to renovate their kitchen, whatever it is, the business, right? When these people get in front of you, they were a yes. And then something happens to make them a no. It's their resistance. And so you're using this, thank you. You are using this to break down the resistance of their greatest desires, their wants, their needs, their pursuits. So you are helping them to eliminate all their noise by creating an emotional bond, an emotional connection. Any other questions, thoughts, comments? Could you provide examples of how storytelling has transformed your personal situation or relationships? You guys, the success in my coaching business that I launched less than 2 years ago, it's all because I decided and made it my mission to use my personal stories, my triumphs, my complete failures to help other people level up, to help other people self-actualize and become the best version of themselves, and to start design a life that they choose instead of a life by default. I wouldn't even be here. I'm here for 3 weeks, and it's all due to my willingness to share my story. Okay, so I don't know how to get my slides back up. Here we go. No, there we go. Thank you. So I do have this amazing offer that you have to check out because it's very unique. I have one-on-one, I have team options, and I have a very affordable group offering in here. Just do a deep dive call with me. If you want to grow your business, if you are looking to level up and become the best version of yourself and design a life and a career worth having, this is the solution. But this is really geared towards operations, right? I'm going to help you get shit done, you guys. I'm going to help you overcome all the obstacles, whether they are mindset related, operations related, sales related, follow-up related, accountability, all of that. So please check this out. Don't be afraid to just get on a deep dive call with me and see if we are a match. This is everything that you're going to get in that program, but you will see that on that slide. But most importantly, I have put together a toolkit of resources that I am growing every day. These are the things that helped me grow my business from 30 million in sales to 300 million in sales, to then overcome losing all of that, to now build the life that I choose and design. And so these are those free resources, and they help to, help us get to know each other. And I would love to do a deep dive call with anybody who is stuck, unsure, no strings attached. It's okay. Not everybody is a match. We may not end up working together, but I would look forward to getting to know you better and you getting to know me better. Can you please put up my schedule? And I'll put this up again. And then the schedule is there. So thank you guys so much. This obviously was an abridged version of storytelling, but you should be able to get started. Rewatch this. I will have some resources to support this. If you registered for today, you will get the replay of this and all the other Empower Hours in the past and in the future, and always have access to this. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Oh, I don't know what that was. Anika, so good to see you. Thank you, Aunt Anika, Olivia, Dixon, Stephanie. So many of you. Thank you for coming in. Thank you, Nancy, Wendy. Love you guys. Bye.